Hey there, mindful travelers. What are you afraid of? Does that fear negatively impact your travel? Well, today is the day that we take a step down the path toward conquering your fear. Let's get going. A little bit of fear is normal. Fear is our natural instinct to protect us against harm. Obviously, that is a vital attribute for the conscious and mindful traveler, especially those toting around children. But that same fear can take a nasty turn to downright debilitating. As a family travel agent, I have seen many times how fear can negatively impact someone's trip, to the extent of completely missing out on some of the most enriching opportunities. Some of the most common travel fears are fear of flying, fear of getting lost, fear of language barriers, fear of being robbed, fear of illness, and fear of the unknown. That list goes on, and a discussion about conquering each one of those fears would take much more time than we have today. There are plenty of resources about that very topic. Check out some of those I posted down below in the doobly-doo. For now, I want to focus on the fear of the unknown. In my opinion, that fear is universally applicable to all the rest, as every other fear is a negative assumption about something that hasn't happened yet. If you think about it, that is a clear contradiction between one of the main reasons that people travel in the first place, that longing for a new experience. In other words, the unknown. Well, if the glass ceiling just shattered for you and you're looking around foolishly thinking about your fear, I promise you, you are not alone. For as long as I can remember, I hid behind a fear of roller coasters. That fear shaped my travel habits, my social interactions, and even my moods when in the presence of a roller coaster. My fear was so intense it had become a phobia. A phobia occurs when a normal response to a fear becomes entangled with things that are not inherently dangerous. Those things that then become the focus of the fear. But aren't roller coasters dangerous? I mean, that's what I convinced myself, and that's what I told everyone whenever they asked me why I didn't want to ride it. Well, come to find out, there's a governing body for just about everything, and the regulations for amusement ride safety are extremely strict. Which means my excuse was unfounded, and my fear was unnecessary. My amazingly supportive wife tried to reassure me time and again, but I was steadfast. As we planned our trip to Walt Disney World this past May, I made sure to set everyone's expectations. Mommy would ride all the roller coasters with Sarah, and Daddy would stay safely on the ground with little Adrian. After all, I had been to Disney World, Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris a combined 70 times before May, and not once did I step foot on Expedition Everest, the Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, or the Lake California Screamin'. And I wasn't about to start now. Funny thing about being a dad though, when those pretty little eyes start batting, and that hand comes up to grab yours and says, "Daddy, I'm scared," something magically changes. For the first time in all those visits, I rode all the scary rides, and guess what? I loved them! After all that time, I finally realized that my fear of the unknown was preventing me from experiencing some of the most exhilarating experiences. Years and years of avoiding anything that would possibly give me the sensation of vertigo prevented me from having some of the most fun that I could ever experience at even the most magical places on Earth. But I conquered my fear, and I'm here to tell you, you can too. Now, I'm not here to play psychologist. I'm only trying to give you the tools for a more mindful existence. I want you to do something with me before we go. Take your fear and write it down. Now, once you write it down, I want you to encircle that fear with all the times that you ever experienced it in life. And I mean really experienced it. If you're afraid of spiders,
like me,
how many times have you actually been bitten? While there's always the exception, I bet most of you are struggling to write down even one time that you experienced that fear. And why is that? That is because fear is never in the present moment. It is in the imagined future. It is something that hasn't even happened yet. We fear that something might happen. Now, if you are one of the few who have actually experienced something to justify that fear, I ask you another question. Are you still alive? Well, you and I both know the answer to that. And that is because of the inherent impermanence of life. Everything is fleeting, good and bad. Whatever begins has an end, and that includes that fearful sensation that may have prevented you from living your fullest life. So the next time you are planning an adventure, I encourage you to do something that you are afraid of. Step up and conquer that fear. Confront it, don't avoid it. Remind yourself that that fear is only in the imagined future, but you have control of that future. As Norman Fisher wrote, when we understand the full basis of our fear, we can see through it. Take charge of your future, enjoy your life, and experience the world for all of its beauties, scary or otherwise. If you like today's videos, click subscribe below. Our content is intended to serve you and contribute to building a community of caring and selfless humans. Your feedback is vital to accomplishing that goal. We believe that we are all one global tribe, and that cultural gaps can be bridged through travel, education, and service. Let us know how we are doing in the comments below, and your shares are greatly appreciated. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Novel Excursion Travel, and Twitter, Pinterest, and TikTok at Novel Excursion.
Don't forget to travel mindfully. Bye!